What's up out there? Welcome back to some more Melvor Idle, and today we're going to talk about mods and modding and the mods that I have just enabled. Now, the last video I put out was asking for some feedback on how mods worked and what was available that did not affect the game itself. And you guys provided some really good feedback to it. So I decided to actually enable the modding today and see what was there. I kind of poked around a little bit, but looking at what the wiki page has might not be the mods that are available in the game. So I thought, you know what? I have time today. I'm going to turn it on. So I actually turned the mod manager on, and you're looking at part of it right now. I have hardcore adventure speedrun insanity mode enabled, and then hardcore combat only, and then medium core combat only. There's some choices in there. So the mods that I've actually enabled, we're going to take a look at these in the game here in a second, but the ones that I've actually enabled is shop item owned indicator. This sounded really cool. If you're trying to figure out whether you've bought a skill cape or not, this tells you whether you own one. I think it's whether it's in your inventory or not. So if it's not in your inventory, it won't tell you that you've actually purchased it. It just says whether you own one or not, I think. Mainly that's for my standard character because I'm going to be going for completion on that first. So making sure that I've picked up all the skill capes and all the different items in there from Township and everything like that is going to be beneficial. Item uses, this tells you what items can be used where. We'll show that one off here in a minute. Show skill modifiers. This shows what modifiers apply to the skill that you're using at the moment. This one was really cool. Township breakdown's really cool. Quick shards. This is for summoning to let you just say, hey, I want to buy 1,000 of these, and it buys all the shards you need with one click of the button. You don't have to do math. You don't have to do anything. You just tell it how much you want, and it buys it for you, which is great. I love that. Township grid display we'll get into. Handy dandy notebook. I thought this was pretty cool. Tarkov has this. So if you're doing specific tasks or something, you can actually go in and notate what you're doing. This should follow me around to the different mobile stuff and whatever. So if I put notes in on PC, then I can go to mobile and say, oh yeah, I was trying to go get this. Because a lot of times there's something that I'm trying to get and I forget about it by the time I actually sit down to do it. So if I can just go punch in a note real fast, say, I'm doing this for that, cool. I think that's a good feature. And then we looked at the hardcore adventure speedrun, insanity, and combat only mode, hardcore or medium core. So we're going to dive into the game. Now, we are loaded into my standard account. Basically, what I did is I took a save. I went down to settings and scrolled all the way to the bottom down here where you can download save. And I downloaded both saves for my standard and my hardcore. And I labeled them pre-mod. So if I want to go back, if I want to remove all the modding, disable the mod manager, and here's where you disable the mod manager right there. But if I wanted to disable everything and go back to the way things were before the modding, I have saves in place for that. I did install a bunch of mods before. I don't remember everything that I installed, but I tried one of these I shouldn't say some. I tried one of these semi ones. And a lot of you have to install the semi core. And then there was one that showed, what was it? XP per hour. This one I thought would be useful, and it turned out I didn't really care for it all that much. Basically, what you do is turn the thing on, and it's supposed to tell you how much XP you're going to get, so you can kind of plan out how long it's going to take to do something. A lot of the rest of this stuff is auto rune crafting, smithing, and stuff like that. I don't want anything automatic, so I basically disabled that and took it out. Did not care for this. These are great if you want to just not... I didn't try any of these out, but from the sound of them, like you're going to spend down mastery pool XP. This is the stuff I didn't want. So basically all of the semi ones are pretty much out. The ones that I did have, like this item uses, I thought this looked really cool. It shows you where things can be used or what things are going to be useful for. So if you need to keep something or not. There's a lot of mods in here. What's going to be cool is when we get the actual, once the modding community matures a little bit. Right now, what you're getting is stuff for quality of life, maybe things to make things go faster. You're getting things for the game itself. You don't really have very many, is it going to show up in combat? Let's see here. There's one mod in here in particular that I thought looked cool. Well, there's this one too, this God Wars, old school RuneScape, something like that. You can actually, you're bringing in those enemies and things like that. I'm waiting for a lot of this type of stuff. The actual, this insanity game mode or something like that. I'm waiting for Death is No Joke. Sounds cool. I didn't enable that one, but there was one that's got like a little set of Diablo stairs on it. I don't remember what that one was. Content maybe. Yeah, this one here, this labyrinth. Diablo 1 mobs, the Slayer area in the labyrinth, like stuff like that. I saw a couple of these where they were adding like different Slayer areas and stuff like that. What I'm looking for is like when somebody comes up with like a Star Wars mod or something. Not that I'm a big Star Wars fan, but you start putting Lord of the Rings stuff in here. You start putting Star Wars, like total conversion. You're going to make this into something completely different, all different skills, all different tasks, all different, take everything that's in the base game and revamp it completely. That's what I think is going to be really cool. And that's going to be another couple of years from now. But let's dig into what I actually have installed now. If I go to the mod manager and I click on my mods, let me back up. There are some mod settings here. So if you need to change something for some of these, that lets you change where the position of things are. This one tells you what you want to see. And certain things like a spoiler warning you can enable or disable. It's disabled by default. And then there's some other things that you can change in here for these specific mods. In the mod manager, you have two choices. You can either browse for new stuff, or you can click on my mods and look at what you have installed. Now, once you click on one, there will be a thing that pops up in here. If you subscribe to one or unsubscribe, there will be a thing that comes up here actually, that will tell you to restart your session, and that loads the mod in. So every time you add one, you have to restart the session. So specifically to the ones that I have installed, the shop item owned indicator. Now this is pretty cool. It's not necessarily useful today because I've bought a lot of this stuff, but tomorrow, for my hardcore account, it might be really useful. It tells you what you've owned. So I do not own smithing gloves, but I do own mining gloves. I own 4 of these max skill capes, superior owned. Now, I think this is telling me that I own the replacement to it, but not necessarily whether I own this one. Now, if I owned one of these, I think, well, I'm going to guess if I buy one of these, it's going to say that I owned, and yeah, there's one owned and the superior owned. So it just basically tells you what you have. So it tells me what I have, what I don't have. And the reason I really wanted this is not necessarily because of this stuff that you're going to buy and use once. It's because of this stuff here. There's a lot of these different things. And I remember when I was buying all the different township stuff, I had to figure out whether I had it or not. And then I'd find one helmet or something that was missing and I'd have to go buy it. Because I think I chunked up to level 40 real fast. And I was able to buy the first 3 items on here. And then the level 60 stuff took a while to get. So this is a nice quality of life thing to tell me whether I have it or not. I almost wish this told me whether it was found or not instead of had. That way, for like hardcore, you can purchase it and then it fills in the completion log. If it was, that's what I think I really want is the completion log. So tell me what I need to do to fill the completion log entry. Anyway, this is good enough for now until we get one that does that. And that was the shop item owned indicator. The next one is the item uses. Now this one's pretty cool. If you go in here and you click on this, there's an item use down here. So it tells you what something can be used for, whether, this upgrades to that. Cool. This upgrades to this. But if you go into something like food and click on this, it tells you that there's a summoning thing that uses it and a cooking thing. Again, really helpful for hardcore, especially to help you decide what you need to keep and what you need to destroy or just sell or whatever. This shows all this. So if I wanted to change to tree hang, it tells me that I need that for this and how many. I think that's cool. It's a nice little enhanced quality of life thing, mostly for whether you want to sell something or not. This isn't really something I would use all the time, but it's kind of handy. You know what I mean? So I think that what do I need to keep? what skills am I working on? Do I need to keep it or not? And this is going to be more beneficial to hardcore. Yeah, adaptive defense potion needs these, or I could make a big ton of money off of them. Either way. Let's see. What's the next one we've got here? Show skill modifiers. This one is up in the corner here. You get this little book icon. So if I'm out in combat and I click on this, this shows me all the different all the different modifiers for that skill. So if I go into smithing and I'm sitting there thinking, man, why is my chance to double items not 80% or 100%? It's capped out at that high. So I can click on this and I can see, well, there's a negative 20% chance to preserve potion charge. I guess that's offset by this 15. So maybe I only have a -5. But you can actually look at this, the actual modifiers. This, I think, should be in the game. This feels like something that should be in the base game, that just tells you what you're, and I think they promised us that at some point, where they would tell us where our skills were getting benefits, buffs, and debuffs from. And this lets that happen. So I have a plus 40% chance to double items globally and a -30. So that's going to be a net plus 10, I guess, if I'm reading this correctly. So I've got a -1 global XP if I care about that. So again, it's just another nice little quality of life feature that is not necessarily game changing or game breaking, but it just helps you look in the right direction to see maybe I need to go adjust something in agility. Like if I'm trying to power level and if I go to Township and click on this, I'm actually losing 8%. I'm not gaining any skill XP bonus. I'm actually losing one. So maybe I want to go adjust something to level up quicker. I think that's going to be cool. And I'm guessing these come from the gods and stuff. I'm not sure. But I think it's a really nice feature. Really nice feature. Then we go to Township Breakdown, and I'm going to handle Township Grid Display at the same time. So if we go to Township, there is Breakdown and Grid. Breakdown, I don't really see a whole ton of utility for this yet, but I think this is laid out very nicely. You can't do anything with this, like you can't build anything. There's nothing to click on except for this modifier data. So probably the information here is what's going to be the most important. It's just a display, shows you what you've got. It doesn't really say what's where, but there's some places to build. So there is some utility there, but there's nothing you can really do in this screen. It's handy, but not necessarily totally useful yet. Now the grid, on the other hand, this one you can actually do a lot with. This sets everything up in this handy dandy grid, and I like this a lot. So there's a little bit to take in on this one. You've got cottages, and they're built in the valley and the snowlands. If I wanted to upgrade them, I can actually go and click the upgrade button. It tells me what I need to expend, or the materials to upgrade it. It doesn't necessarily tell you the problems and why you can't upgrade. So there will be reasons to go back to the build button from the normal game. Oh yeah, I forgot to click on this. Anyway, we'll go back to grid mode here. So this is really handy, and I actually used this a little bit when I was trying to upgrade some things. So as you're building your town, you say, man, I'm negative on herbs. You can actually click on this. You can see where your gatherer huts are, and you can upgrade them. Now it's upgraded to gatherer's hut. So I can upgrade these if I have the materials. It lets me build. Say I had enough room to build in that area, I could build. I can also go in and upgrade these. Well, I'm done upgrading now, but so I have a deficit here. I need to create these. Well, I can actually go and it will show me where I can build them, what biomes and stuff. I think this is fantastic. This is how, compared to this, where you have to go select each one, this seems like this is how it should have been in the first place. Like this is just a no-brainer. And let's see, we also got, I forgot to look at the citizen thing here a little bit more. So this shows where they're working, what they're working as. A lot better than this breakdown thing. Again, it's a quality of life improvement over the base game. I actually haven't clicked through. The build menu hasn't changed. The yeet hasn't changed. Yeah, so basically just the citizenry and then these two that got added. And they're very handy. Like I said, extremely handy. You can click on, let's say, happiness. Well, here's all the buildings that generate happiness, which is probably to do with work and things like that, I think. And they didn't color these yellow because the happiness thing should be yellow, a little yellow smiley face. But anyway, I thought these were really cool and very handy. Moving on to quick shards. Oh my God, how handy is this? If you want to go create, let's say, we'll pick one of these fancier ones, the new stuff, the sirens, the beavers. If I wanted to create one of these, I would not have to expend anything. I don't have to spend because it's looking at my shards. The basic concept of this is instead of having to go old school and click on each one, get out your calculator and multiply all this and set a number, or do what I did, which was buy 12,000 of these, 8,000 and then 6,000. You can actually say that I want to do 1,000 uses, and it calculates that I have enough of the black shards, but I need to buy this many silver and this many green. This is something that I think should be in the damn game. This makes life so much easier. Just let me select how many I want, let it apply to all of them, and then just make it even. So much easier. So much easier. So that, I think, is a huge quality of life. Again, it's just something that makes it not as painful to deal with some of this stuff. The handy dandy notebook. This one is kind of a real simple thing. You go up to this little backpack looking thing and you can type whatever you want. The cool thing here is if I'm on hardcore and I'm trying to go into combat for something like I am currently, I can say I'm in combat to try to level up to get this. And then when I log in a few days and I'm wondering, why was I doing all this in combat for so long? That's why. So I took the little handy dandy notebook. It's got a character limit. Don't know how much, but it's supposed to go to mobile. I have not tried any of this in mobile yet. I've been working on the PC and just decided to go make a video. So that's the handy dandy notebook. And then we looked at the speed runs, the combat only, and the hardcore adventure speed run. So these are why I wanted to enable the modding. I don't care about PDF Suite. Thank you for putting the message up while making a video. Anyway, probably edit that out. So the last two are the hardcore adventure speedrun for Insanity and the combat only, hardcore combat only, medium core combat only. These are really why I wanted to enable modding. This other stuff, quality of life stuff, is great. That's fantastic. It's fine. It's going to help me out. But these are the two that I really, well, one is hardcore combat only, but then there's any of these other speedrun modes or any of this other stuff. It's cool to have these as an option. I will not be doing a character immediately. I just wanted to get everything running and get into the mod part. We've had enough time since the expansion came out that I think the mods have probably settled down and are working fairly well. People have had time to bug proof them a little bit or work out the bugs. So that's why I've enabled them now. And I really want to get into a hardcore combat only run, but I'm going to hold that off. I do want to start streaming on this channel at some point in the near future, in the next few months, and the year's blazing by. I was looking towards the end of the year. Basically, I have to replace my laptop, so I have to buy a whole new PC and figure out how I want to do that. So I don't know if I want to replace my gaming rig completely, which is the more expensive option, and then use my current gaming rig as my streaming rig, or buy a dedicated streaming rig, which could be the same cost as buying a gaming rig. So there's options there. I just haven't decided which way to go yet. So that's going to be down a few months from now. I also wanted to spend time just getting the regular modes done before I dive into hardcore combat only. I wanted to, because that's going to be a serious investment in time. And like I said, I wanted to be able to stream it because that is more of an active game at first. So the first 20 or 30 hours is probably going to be a lot more active than once you get it to fully idle. So I figured I'd do, work on that a little bit. And that's why we have modding enabled today. So it's there today for tomorrow, basically. I can get benefits of some of the cool stuff today and then see how things go. I did enable some other mods. I guess I should mention that. There were a few of these that I turned on that I just didn't like, and I turned back off. There was some other information ones. I can't remember. Nope, that's not the one I wanted to click. I can't remember which ones all I turned on, but there were a few of these. I did not turn this one on. The modifiers exposed. I didn't do that one. There was one where you could like right click on items to equip them. I did try that one, and it wasn't what I thought. I thought you would go into the bank and be able to just go in here and right click and equip. And what it was is you would actually go here and right click on this, and it would give you a giant list of all the items in your inventory to equip. And I didn't care for that one. There was some kind of quick equip that came up that had like a Fez button here. I can't remember, it was like Fez Quick or something like that. And you'd click on that and you'd tell it what you wanted. And I think it would just equip everything off this quick equip menu, but I didn't care for that one either. It didn't work quite the way I wanted it to. So I did try some other quality of life mods that just didn't quite work out. And I think there was, well, that semi one that I tried, it would tell you how much XP per hour, but I'd get into minutia that I didn't care about. And then there was another one that did, I can't remember. Oh, I had a duplicate one for item uses. There was one for specific township items. And then this item uses was more general that said, if you click on this, it tells you what it gives you for everywhere. So if like this, I could click on these and it tells me all the different gear that it would go into. The other one was just township specific stuff. So I disabled that because it was kind of redundant and I didn't really want to run any more than I had to. So long story short, those are the mods that I have enabled and I am digging them so far. Like I said, I do have some saves I could restore from in case something goes sideways, or if I just don't like the mods being enabled. I don't know. I like the quality of life features that I have. So as long as they work well on mobile, I'll be happy. Because I spend the bulk of my time on mobile, just checking things throughout the day. Basically, when I do a dungeon for the first time or something, I'll go on PC. So I don't really spend a whole lot of time here. So the mods that were on this side weren't really that critical. It's the mobile, and I have to test those out. So we'll see how those go. But so far, so good. I am enjoying what I have enabled, and I don't know, we'll see where this all goes. So that will do it for this one. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.